What is the biggest difference between profitable traders and unprofitable traders? Are they smarter than you? Do they have more money than you? Do they know a secret that you do not know? No. Absolutely not. The difference between profitable traders and unprofitable traders a lot of the time lies in the way that they think, the way that they think about the market. And that is one of the biggest things that has changed my trading the most. It's how I think. This is what has allowed me over this year already to flip 2 unprofitable days into profitable days. And this has all come through the way that I think. And that is the biggest difference between profitable traders and unprofitable traders. And so today I want to talk about the big difference between a profitable trader and an unprofitable trader when it comes to the way that they think. I'm going to give you 4 different perspectives. One of them is going to be from unprofitable traders, the other one is going to be from profitable traders. And so let's get into that right now. The first big difference between profitable traders and unprofitable traders, it's the time frame in which they are thinking about. Unprofitable traders, they think a lot about the current month. They think about the most recent trade. They think about this very tiny set of results that they had that defines them and themselves as unprofitable. While profitable traders, they understand that trading is a long game. It does not matter how well your edge is laid out. Over 1 month, you can have losing trades. Over 1 month, you can even be unprofitable. Over a quarter, you can even be unprofitable. But what matters is what happens at the end of the year, what happens at the end of 5 years. That's when the real definition of a profitable trader and unprofitable trader comes in. I've had multiple people telling me, hey, I profited 5%, blah, 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 am I profitable? Well, tell me in 6 months' time if you can keep that up. And that does not mean that you need to profit 5%, 5%, 5%. Just means that on average, you are a profitable trader. For example, the S&P 500, which is one of the biggest things that us in the financial markets look at, like us as traders, our goal is to outperform the S&P 500. And the S&P 500, it has had negative years. It has had break-even years. It has had multiple years that were red, break even, and also a lot of the years that were profitable. So is investing in the S&P 500 something that is profitable? Over 10 years, over 50 years, yes. Over 1 year, you don't know. The same thing applies to trading. And that's one of the biggest difference between profitable and unprofitable traders. Profitable traders, they are thinking in a matter of years. Unprofitable traders, they are thinking in a matter of months. And if you do that, and if you change the way that you think into when I'm learning something, it's gonna take time. When I'm executing on something, it's gonna take time. The results are always going to take time. There's a chart that was actually shared recently with me that I really like, and it happened so much with me because I always thought I'm becoming so much better as a trader, so much better, but my results do not show it. Like, I'm spending money on education, I'm doing this, I'm watching videos, I'm backtesting, and still my results are not there. And that's where I remember that when you are trying to get results, you have to understand it's going to take time to actually see the outcome of your results. So for example, when you have an ice cube and you start heating the ice cube up, does it instantly melt? No. Maybe if it's that cold, it's gonna even take a little bit long of you heating the ice cube up until it starts to melt. Therefore, you've already been putting the work in, yet the ice cube is not melting yet. Therefore, would you just give up or would you keep doing the same thing? So that is the number one thing for us as traders. Understand, in trading, input does not equal output. Number 2 is how traders perceive losses. And this all ties back into the way that they think in point number 1. A lot of traders think about losses as being something bad. A lot of traders think about wins as being something good, when in reality, losses and wins, they are the exact same as long as you follow the plan. Because trading is just having a statistical edge that then, in a matter of trades, which is going to be over a long span of trades, is going to give you a profitable edge, which basically means you cannot predict the outcome of the next trades, but you can predict the outcome of the next 1,000 trades when you have a mathematical statistical edge. Now, there's something called the law of larger numbers, which is exactly this. It applies perfectly when it comes into trading. And that law says that random outcomes over a long span of time are not random. And that's why we say that trading is random in the short term, but it's not random in the long term. Because if you are profitable, you will be profitable in the long term. And if you are profitable, you can be unprofitable in the short term because you know that it's over a long span of time that your results will come. So again, it ties very, very well with the first point. Now, point number 3 is how traders, profitable traders and unprofitable traders, they approach education. I am going to be releasing a free bootcamp in the next week. We will have 31 days of 31 videos that are going to be released on this channel. It's going to be the biggest event I have done so far here on YouTube. 31 days, 31 videos. The goal of that free bootcamp is to make sure that you become profitable and that you get funded with the information that is being given to you, right? But one of the things that I do want to mention is that profitable traders, they look at education in a very, very different way. So I was already seeing signs of profitability once I started getting into ICT. But the first thing that I did once I saw, okay, ICT is free, there's a lot of things that I have to sift through. So let me watch what people recommend the most, which for example, for me, if you want to watch ICT, watch the 2022 mentorship and watch the core content. And then what I did was, let me pay a profitable ICT student to teach me how to implement this. Because information, everyone has information, right? You've seen ICT, I've seen ICT, this person has seen ICT. And you're in a lot of the ways that differentiates a profitable and unprofitable trader is knowing how to implement it. That's why sometimes having someone being over your shoulder, letting you know how to implement it, it's really, really better for you long-term as a trader. But unprofitable traders, they see a lot of trading education as, oh, this is just a scam, blah, blah, blah. There are people, no joke, I know multiple people that have paid over $50,000 for one mastermind, which is something that happens over a couple of days. $50,000 to learn one specific skill because they know that that skill is going to pay them tenfold, right? I have one friend that he spent, I think, $200K on masterminds, and he said that only one was not worth it. Only one he did not see a return from. All of the other ones, he at least had a 3x return on their investment. And the same thing applies with education. And I know there are so many people deceiving you when it comes to trading education. There's so much trash out there, ridiculous amounts of trash. But I seriously recommend you to not look at a few specific selected people that are not good for the industry and think that everyone is the same way. Personally, when I want to learn a specific skill, I don't ask, well, I obviously check YouTube, but I instantly see, okay, does this person that just had a good YouTube video have a course? If so, fuck it, I'll just buy the course, right? And it obviously depends on how much you are dedicated into trading. It depends on how much capital you have available. I understand, like I personally, I have never paid for a $50,000 mastermind, right? I'm telling you the experience of other people that I know that have made thousands and thousands of dollars, but they're willing to put all of it into more education because they know it's going to pay them tenfold. So one of the big differences between profitable and unprofitable traders is the way that they see learning. They see it as, okay, what can I add into my strategy? And that is point number 4, because what I just said is that profitable and unprofitable traders treat education in a very different way. And it's not only about thinking that everything is a scam or thinking that everything is great, because it's not, but mostly understanding that everything has its place, right? So when I see that there is an indicator trader or a support and resistance trader or a futures trader or an FX trader, I actually just ask myself, listen, how can I implement this in my specific trading? So there was a time, let me tell you a story. There was a time where I was quite lost, and the ICT was now teaching the 2024 mentorship. I was a little bit lost. My result, like I was getting consistent payouts, but I was not happy with my results. And then I saw that he was doing futures, and on futures, he was reading the market very, very well. It's like he was calling the fair value gaps very nicely. He was saying, oh, the market will still respect this fair value gap. Notice how the market always reacts from this 50%. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. But I trade FX mainly. So there were two things that I did, and that is the difference between profitable and unprofitable traders, is that unprofitable traders, they're going to completely change everything. They're like, okay, this actually does not work anymore, I'm gonna do this. And then once that doesn't work, it's like, okay, I'm not gonna do that. And then I'm gonna do that. It's like, for you to become a profitable trader, you need to understand you have to niche down. You have to find something that works and stick to it long enough to make it work. So if I'm telling you right now, the bootcamp that I'm launching next week is going to be everything you need to be profitable, and you're still asking yourself, oh, but can this be applied here? Can this be applied there? Can this be done here? It's like you're looking at it in the wrong way. Trading is about focus. Focus in strategy and focus in yourself. Being able to execute according to what you've always learned, what actually works in the long term. Just because you had a rough patch like we talked about in number 1 does not mean you have to change your strategy. A lot of profitable traders, they look at other concepts by, you know what? How could I possibly apply this in my strategy? And that's what they do. And that's why between beginning of 2024 and right now, my strategy has changed a lot. And that's why my strategy in beginning of 2024 and end of 2024, it's not a completely different strategy, but it simply has more concepts applied to it. And if you want, focus on the power of 3, basically manipulation, knowing how to read the manipulation, and focus on the daily bias. If you understand direction and if you understand manipulation, the only thing that is going to be missing is executing on trades, right? So that is really the biggest difference between how profitable traders and unprofitable traders think. I want to leave you with a story because it was very, very recent. Last week, basically, I had one trade on pound dollar that basically resulted in a loss. And on Discord, I was like, yeah, this trade is probably going to take me out and then move in the direction that I forecasted. And that is exactly what happened. But notice what I did. Before the market actually tapped me out and moved in my direction, I already forecasted that happening because I have detached my ego from short-term results. I understand that if I'm going to be profitable, I'm going to be profitable over the long term. So if I want to remain a profitable trader, I just have to keep sticking to the plan. Does not matter if I was swept out and the market moved in my direction. Does not matter if I picked the wrong trade, picked the wrong lot size. The only thing that matters is that I continue doing what I know how to do every single day. And that is what has turned 2 of my losing days actually into profitable days. 2 days that I started off completely losing, -1, that turned into profitable days. Right? That is the biggest difference between profitable traders and unprofitable traders. When I take losses, I don't take them personally. I learn from the losses and from other people. I don't take losses personally. I forecast losses happening. I'm constantly learning and adapting in order to understand what can be improved. But last but not least, I am never always changing what I do. I always focus on 3 main things: power of 3, daily bias, and execution. The only thing that might change is the way that I execute. But that's fine because the 2 core concepts that I know how to master are being mastered day in and day out. And all I want to do is optimize these 3 things, right? So if you focus on that and you stop taking losses personally and you understand that trading is a never-ending learning game and that not all mentors are scams, then maybe you will be profitable in the future. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. I am very, very excited to see you in the bootcamp that is coming in March. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.